Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of Bitcoin, taking a look at what's been going on most recently and what we think is likely to happen next. As I get into the video, if you find it useful and informative, smash the like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe by subscribing and tapping the bell, selecting all the notifications. You will not miss another video update. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, check it out. Also linked in a description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out? Let's jump right down into the video though. So Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the BitGet exchange on the 1 hour chart. Okay, so if you're looking to replicate this analysis, that's the data source that you're looking for. Bitcoin USDT spot on BitGet and 1 hour chart. So let's take a look at this, right? We're going to be taking a look at the smart money concepts on this 1 hour chart here. And we can see that we have ourselves 3 fair value gaps on this 1 hour time frame. We have the low one down here at 25,161 to 25,351. We have this mid-range coming in at 25,712 to 25,776, just underneath the equilibrium. And we can see up the top here, we have the 25,991 to 26,278. So fair value gaps, what are they? I talk about these pretty much every video at the moment because they seem to be cropping up quite often. They are basically and essentially imbalances in the order book. So if we come over to the BitGet exchange here, come down to the spot trading pair, and we're going to find, or spot trading, and then find the Bitcoin USDT pair. We're going to click into there, and this is going to load you up the trading view chart, which is the one that we were just looking at. As you can see, we've drawn on the fair value gaps here. All your analysis will stay on the trading view on the BitGet exchange here. But specifically, when I talk about the order books, okay, so it's the order books that are creating these gaps in the market. Okay, so basically, if there's an imbalance between your buyers and your sellers, then you're going to potentially leave gaps behind. Okay, and the gaps represent illiquidity. They represent an area in price where liquidity was not present. As in, on the way up here, there was a lot of buying pressure, not enough selling pressure. Price jumps from the low side to the high side, leaving these big-bodied candles. And as such, you leave the gap behind. Price wants to come back down and fill the gaps. Okay, so when you have the imbalance in the order books here, you can see we had 1 gap, 2 gaps, 3 gaps, 4 gaps. Okay, and then we've come down and we filled the first one. We're looking to come down and fill that second. We'll look to come down in third and then fourth. Okay, and it's created through imbalances of the order books. Okay, so for the most part, you can kind of see within our BitGet data here that we have got filled the first one. Now I can probably go ahead and delete it, but for the argument's sake, I'll leave it there just for demonstration purposes. We've got this one down here, obviously, which is what I just said, 25,991 to 26,278. And so this one right here, this is the one that we're likely to come back down to and fill out before coming down towards equilibrium and the mid-range. And then we've got the low one down here as well. Now, fair value gaps on the 1 hour chart, there's going to be a lot of them. They're going to crop up all over the place. But for the most part, it's the daily ones that are more interesting, at least to me personally. But before we get into that, I just want to kind of say, if you haven't yet signed up to BitGet, check it out. Affiliate link is in the description below. It's my go-to platform for all spot trading and leverage trading at the moment. Only occasionally when a coin and token is not listed on BitGet am I having to hop on over to something like MEXC or KuCoin, for example, but at the moment most of my volume is going through BitGet, and I'm very happy to say that, because it is a platform that does it and works incredibly well in my opinion. So why not check it out if you haven't done so already? Affiliate link is in the description. Let's jump on down into the charts again. Okay, so now we've kind of explained the fair value gaps and how they kind of create or are created. We can kind of acknowledge that price at some point is likely to go back down and fill these areas, right? It can take some time. There's no time restrictions here on how long it takes for a fair value gap to get filled out. It's just something that we know is likely to occur at some point in the future. If I actually pull this one over here, you can see these fair value gaps and how they're stacking up. Okay, we can also acknowledge from our smart money concepts here, if I just kind of zoom out just a fraction, that we're in a potential bullish structure, yet to be confirmed though. Okay, so we're looking for some short-term corrections before potentially looking at another move to the upside. Now, from our stochastic RSI, we can see down here that actually things are not looking great on the daily time frame or the 8-hour time frame, but they're not too bad on the 1 and 4 hours. So we might see some small time volatility over the next kind of 24-48 hours with some positive green market action, right? We might see the price moving up a little bit, or at worst, probably just trading sideways. But at some point, we are going to see the macro picture take over, and we are going to see a significant pull to the downside that's probably going to take out these fair value gaps. Okay, so it's important that we kind of acknowledge that. Now, if I jump over into our daily time frame, okay, we can see that we've got these 3 fair value gaps right here. Okay, but if I zoom out and come down a little bit deeper, you can see that there's fair value gaps that are sat all the way down here as well. And these fair value gaps that are much lower in the price chart are the ones that I think that we're going to be gravitating towards over a bigger macro picture. As you can kind of see that we're overbought on our daily time frame here, and this fair value gap is all the way down here. Let me go ahead and actually just mark it in. Right in here. Okay, coming in at 22,109 to 23,992. So at some point, my thoughts and opinions are that we have to go and come down into the equilibrium range and take out this fair value gap. We'll probably find some kind of bouncing activity around here before we move down to the others. Now, you can, of course, notice as well on this daily time frame that we're actually holding above the 200 EMA at the moment, whilst also finding that upper resistance on the 50 EMA. So we are kind of working our way down gradually here, but I think at some point we will see a bigger, steeper move for Bitcoin to the downside. It'll be interesting to kind of see how that plays out. Of course, if we zoom up into a weekly macro, well, actually things aren't looking too bad, and we do see ourselves with a potential bullish setup on BTC. So we can see here that we are coming down in the lower highs and lower lows. This will have a tendency to want to break up. The question just becomes, are we going to break up before we first finish off grabbing some of those fair value gaps? Okay, now obviously there's no guarantee that this does play out. It's just one thing that we kind of acknowledge happens from time to time, that actually there's a higher probability of a break upwards from this particular setup than a break to the downside. It's not a guarantee though, because everything does have those exceptions to it. So just bear that in mind. It does look like we have a potential bullish setup on the weekly time frame. We're oversold as well, but we can be down here for a bit of time as well. The next move on this weekly time frame would be a bigger move to the upside by the looks of it. And again, something worth just noting. Now, if I come up into our daily chart without smart money concepts and actually come on over into our CMEs, we can see some CME gaps, right? And we can actually see that we filled out a couple of these already, but there are 2 that are on here that are still present. Okay, we can see this one down here coming in at 20,330 to 21,110, and then we've got the higher one at 34,455 to 35,180. Both of these CME gaps will get grabbed, in my opinion. CME gaps are the difference between a closed position and an open position on the futures, and as such, you'll find that when these gaps get left behind, as you can kind of see over here, price wants to come back down and fill those gaps out. Okay, you can see these time and time again. Now, it might take a long time to play out, might take no time at all, right? Timing this is not exactly something that you're going to be easily able to do. But for the most part, you can see that there's 2 gaps on this chart, one at 34 and one at 20, and essentially, or one at 35 and one at 20. We're basically waiting to see which one of those gets grabbed first. It is possible with that potential theoretical bullish movement that we actually go up and we grab the 35 before coming down and grabbing the 20. I'm just not that convinced on it at the moment, considering a bigger macro issues going on in the world, right? We've got a lot of economic issues that could basically see suppression of cryptocurrency for quite a significant period of time. And as such, seeing a 34 to 35,000 CME gap is something that I would like to see, but I'm not that confident on seeing anytime soon. But you know, it's there and we should acknowledge it. Jumping back down into our hourly chart, we are still in our structured move to the downside. That hasn't changed. We did actually move up a little bit higher yesterday. Okay, kind of coming up into our yellow box range. Okay, this was basically 26,664 to 26,732. So essentially what we saw here was a breakdown, a push up, and we're still inside that structure, completing that C wave there. We've now broken down from here, so we know that that structure is complete. Okay, so that means that we're done with the highs and we're now moving down. Our low range target has changed ever so slightly, so let's go ahead and just adjust. Okay, based on that new high, our lows are slightly higher. Okay, so this basically is going to be a 26,051 to 26,174. As you can kind of see, sits right inside the fair value gap, but doesn't completely fill that gap out in its entirety. So we could potentially overextend, maybe just come down towards the 1.382. That would fill the gap out before bouncing. But for the most part, our expectations are that it falls between the 26,051 and 26,174. Okay, that's going to be the expectation right inside here. But you know, we'll see how that kind of goes, and I do think that that move is next. I think essentially we have to be thinking about coming down, finishing off this C wave. On that note though, our minimum expectations on this C wave structure have already been completed with this low that we had yesterday. Okay, because this is lower than the A wave here, this is our minimum expectation was a double bottom. We've achieved that. So there's no guarantee that we come down here. It's just the highest probability based on the structures that we see. Essentially what I'm looking at here is a 3-wave move where we come down into this range. Okay, it's still possible that the B wave can push up a little bit further. That's not a problem as long as it doesn't cross higher than the swing high that we have at $26,700. Okay, anything higher than that would break the structure. But for now, it looks like we were in a 3-wave structured pattern to the downside. B wave can push up higher if it wanted to. It's not overly problematic, but essentially we're targeting out $26,051 to $26,174 on the 1 hour time frame. And of course, you know, we keep a close eye on everything that is unfolding here. We've got the fair value gaps noted on our 1 hour time frame, obviously as we see them here within our range, but also we have them on the daily and weekly time frames. We obviously do have the CME gaps as well. Lots of things to kind of be considering there, but for the most part, I think over the next kind of few hours, our next move should be to see a little bit of volatility, possibly pushing that B wave a little bit higher, but essentially we are looking for that finishing structure, a C wave down a little bit deeper in the price chart right into the fair value gap. I'm going to leave this video there though, guys. If you have found it useful and informative, smash the like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, check it out, linked in the description below. And guys, if you haven't yet checked out BitGet, affiliate link is in the description below. Check it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find over on BitGet. Some fantastic offers available for signups for new participants, and existing offers down in our Discord server as well. So why not check them out? Until the next one though, guys, have a fantastic day.
We are not financial advisors. None of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to lose your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.